All right, Pickle, it's Friday, and so it's time to celebrate Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday.
The North Texas Honda dealers want to help you score on award-winning Hondas like the rugged and reliable 2023 Honda Ridgeline. Visit your Helpful Honda dealer today or visit ntxhondadealers.com to learn more.
So, if you got questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, we encourage you to tune in on Wednesday when we are soliciting those questions.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you go back in time and solicit those questions, or and send in your questions. But we will answer a number of them. Thank you for the questions. They're all very nice, and we value them. I believe we have a number of questions from the people. Where you want to start?
Let's do a twofer here.
Okay.
They're kind of related.
Mm-hmm.
Who can play with Timpson in Region 3 this year? And in that same vein, will Timpson finally get out of the semis?
Yeah, so I think these are both fair questions, and obviously I think that it is centralized around the dominant force and the team to beat in, at the very least, 2A Division I Region 3. At the very least, they are the team to beat in 2A Division I Region 3. I don't think that's really going out on a limb.
No.
They are going to be favorites in every game that they play the rest of the way. Now,
until maybe the semis.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Within Region 3, they'll be favored in every game they play.
Yeah.
If you're looking for challengers within Region 3, Cooper's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of hard-charging running game and defense, although the defense has not been great. I'll also just throw out there, and again, I want to see them play. I'm really excited in a couple of weeks whenever we get. In fact, it's 2 weeks from now. We get Honeygrove against Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
We'll find out a lot more about Honeygrove, but the numbers are shocking.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it. No points, no punts. We'll find out about them. There is also a team that they one team that I do think is an interesting challenger is Beckville. But remember, they beat him by 37 in week 1 without Terry Bussey. So, I don't want to cast them aside because you never know what happens in a rematch. And it's hard to beat a good team twice. But we do have a data point there, and the data point is not promising for the Bearcats. There's one other team that is within their own district that is interesting, and that's Garrison. Very quietly undefeated, very quietly state-ranked, 6-0. And they end the year with Timpson. This week they get Shelbyville. They're better than Springfield's rival, but that's probably right now, sports gun to my head, that's probably matchup of unbeatens in week 11 between Timpson and Garrison. Probably a state-ranked matchup of unbeatens, but I also think Timpson's probably better.
Yeah, by least
right now,
2 touchdowns.
Right now, the computer would have them as 20-point favorites.
Yeah.
Right now. That's the computer. I don't think they're 20-point favorites, but that's what the computer. So those would be the teams on the short list of teams that could challenge Timpson within the district or within the Region 3. Let's say, again, for the sake of argument, that they do win Region 3 and they make it to the state semifinals, where they have been the past couple of years, and they've come up short. They're likely, again, in my mind, to see Refugio.
Yep.
And a lot of that depends on how you view how last year went. Because the real marvel about Refugio last year was that their defense stood on their head and really held down that offense. I think it was 24-21. I think they held them to 21 points. The way that Timpson beats you is that they are at any moment capable of taking it to the house.
Oh, yeah. 3
or 4 guys. It's not just Bussey. It's Vosky Howard. It's J.J. Garner. It's all these playmakers they've got all around them that they're capable of going the distance. And, by the way, their defense has been very good as well.
Right.
Right now, I think Timpson is the favorite to win the 2A Division I state championship.
I would agree with that.
I think they would be a small favorite, a one-score favorite over Refugio.
And that there was the difference last year to me was the fact that for so many years those student athletes on Refugio had played a Shiner team that had the same game plan as Timpson of we're going to get at least 3 to 4 explosive scores in this game. And so they were used to that. Refugio is capable of doing that too, and I don't think Timpson's defense last year was used to, oh my gosh, they can explode at any point in time.
The closest thing, in my mind, the closest thing that Refugio will have seen before they see Timpson is way back in week 1 when they lost to Hitchcock.
Yep.
They gave up 43. Now here's the thing. There is going to be, again, we're working under assumptions. A lot can happen. We're not
saying this is
locked.
locked.
Saying this is locked. If we get Refugio and Timpson, it will have been 14 weeks, maybe even more. It might be 15 weeks between when Hitchcock played Refugio and when Timpson plays Refugio. And teams can change. And certainly their defense, they gave up 43 points to Hitchcock. And they gave up 41 in double overtime to Edna, right? That kind of controversial ending to that. They have that. Their other games, they've played 3 other games since then, and they've given up a combined 24 points. So your mileage may vary, and certainly Bloomington is not going to be mistaken for Timpson. But I would caution, I'm always cautious of taking a very old data point, like from week 1, and applying it to something like week 15.
Yeah, especially too because I know defense travels well, but you're going against a team that it's like, man, because they're so explosive on offense.
Yes.
The defense is out there all the time. They get tired, and after doing that for 15, 16 straight weeks, you're run down at that point.
So yeah, I would. One thing that will be interesting though, I do think the switch has flipped, and I think Region 3 is more rigorous than Region 4.
I agree.
Part of that is because Shiner's way down, but Mason's back. I do think Region 3 is more rigorous than Region 4. And so as a result, I do think Timpson will be, call it more battle-tested, call it more worn down, however you want to play it. They will have gone through a tougher region to get to a semifinal, should they get there. So there you go. There's a long answer to a short question. What's next, Pickle?
Let's go with pick one player in the state to be a 5-star prospect that isn't right now. Terry Bussey is not an option.
So we're excluding Terry Bussey because we just talked a lot about Timpson, which feels fine. So right now, if you don't know, we had Greg Powers on our show on Wednesday, and we have named 4 5-star players. We name a grand total of 5. The top 5 players in Texas in every class are known as our 5 stars. Right now, they're Colin Simmons, the defensive end from Duncanville, Lake Belton wide receiver Micah Hudson, Silsbee wide receiver Draylon Miller, and Conroe Oak Ridge linebacker Justin Williams. Those are the 4 5-stars. We have one more spot. Terry Bussey presently ranks 5th, and certainly will be in the mix for a 5-star. I think, boy, your options are like Kobe Black, Awaiko Conley, who's a dog.
He is a dog.
Max Anderson, the Tennessee commit, the offensive lineman at Frisco Reedy, very good. Bryant Wesco, the Clemson commit, the wide receiver from Midlothian. I'll tell you this. Here are the 2 guys that spring to mind for me. One is DJ Lagway, the wide receiver from Willis, who has been
quarterback.
Quarterback. The quarterback from Willis, who has been an extraterrestrial this year. He's been unbelievable. The other one that I might go with,
Armando Luan.
He's class 2025. We can't count him. Is Taylor Tatum.
Okay, Taylor Tatum's
the
not
running
bad.
back from Longview. He's exceptional.
Yeah.
Flip a coin between those 2. Honestly, those are my 2. Like I would say, those would be my 2 that I would say. If you can't go with Bussey, then it would be for me Lagway or
I like
Tatum.
that. Yeah, that feels right.
They're both game breakers. Like
Lagway's so fun to watch.
To me,
I know Taylor Tatum is, but Lagway's so fun to watch.
And I know, like, certainly there's different ways to like evaluate players and stack them up. But for me, if I'm looking for a 5-star guy, I'm looking for a game breaker. I'm looking for a program changer.
Yeah.
And I think either one of those guys would be program changers.
And I think that that's the thing with me is that obviously, like, if a running back is really, really good, a lot of times that's partial credit to their offensive line. You know, and I do think that Longview has a decently good offensive line, so I think that helps. I've been so impressed by Lagway because it's not like he has just a plethora of superstar wide receivers around him. He's got good receivers,
yes,
but he makes it look easy.
He does. He does make it look easy.
And that, as a quarterback in high school, having to depend on receivers is difficult.
I would agree. All right, what's next, Pickle?
Another two for here. Thoughts on District 2 in 6A.
A little Southwest Conference.
And then we'll talk about Wolfer Friendship has been flying under the radar all year. They're 5-0. What factors lead you to believe that Midland Legacy will win this week?
So we'll do
District as a whole and then hone in.
Yeah, we'll go big picture, small picture. The big picture, District 2 6A, the little Southwest Conference, finally kicks off play this week. It's the rare 6-team 6A district.
Yeah.
And teams that know each other extremely well, right? Right now, if I were to stack it up, I'd go Legacy 1, Friendship, Permian, take your pick, kind of between those two. That game's at Permian, though, which makes me think that that's a long trip from Lubbock to Odessa. So I might lean towards Permian. Then Friendship. And then I guess Midland. Midland's 5-0. Midland's 5-0 too. This has been like they've rolled through non-district. It's been a good district from that perspective. Why I am a believer in Midland Legacy in this game over Friendship. So Friendship is 4-0 or 5-0 rather,
5-0,
and they shouldn't apologize. They have
the 1-point win over Cooper's good, but
they have 2 overtime wins, including a quadruple overtime win over Lubbock Monterey. Okay, so their wins are over Lubbock Coronado, Lubbock Cooper in overtime, Lubbock Monterey in quadruple overtime, Abilene, and then Rio Rancho Cleveland, New Mexico.
The Abilene one is good.
Here's the difference, Pickle. Every one of those teams I mentioned, with the exception of Rio Rancho Cleveland, New Mexico, which is a good New Mexico team, to be clear, but it's a New Mexico team. It was on the road, too, so give them credit for that. Every one of those teams is a 5A team.
Yep.
Every one of them.
Yeah.
This will be the first 6A team they play. As opposed to, for Legacy, they have played Cibolo Steel, right? Last week they beat Converse Judson.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Right? They have played Abilene. If you just want to go, like, we do have like a
data point.
We have a data point, like a common opponent here. Abilene played both Wolfer Friendship and Midland Legacy in back-to-back weeks. Friendship won by 5 at home.
And Abilene or
in Lubbock, and Legacy beat them by 31. I think that right now what I like the offensive consistency from Midland Legacy a little bit more. I think they've started to figure some things out offensively, and especially around Marcos Davila. They were really running the ball really early, and I think that has made them stronger as the season has gone on because it has allowed the running game to blossom, and now they're adding in their star quarterback in Marcos Davila. So that's the reason that I like Legacy in this game. This game's also in Midland, and they're hard to beat at. What used to be Grande Communications Stadium is now like something I'm not going to call it. I'm not going to call Twitter.
I didn't even realize that they switched it.
I'm not going to call Twitter X, and I'm not going to call Grande Communications Stadium the other thing, whatever it is. 'Cause that's what it is. Anyway, what's next, Michael?
What are the challenges of ranking and evaluating a 6-man player?
It's a good question. It's a good question for Greg Powers, and I'll probably ask him. I reserve the right to ask him about this on Wednesday when we do This Week in Recruiting with him. I will say this. The game is so functionally different from a skill position perspective that because of the more wide open nature of the game, it requires, in many respects, a different and in some respects more robust skill set. You what I am interested in is when these six-man players, when six-man superstars go to camps. And what I want to see is I want to see them put on, I want to see them go up against 11-man players in drills. Mm-hmm. Because the game is just very different from just the way that it's played, because it is more wide open. Mm-hmm. You are navigating through like if you're a running back, right? If you're a skill position player, the blocking schemes are entirely different.
Oh, incredibly.
Because of just a numbers perspective. There's
3
5 fewer players out there.
Yeah.
Right? There's 5 fewer players out there. And so, in my view, the challenge is finding ways to take something that is different mm-hmm. and to like adjust for it and then say, okay, what are you at the 11-man level? Mm-hmm. Like, what are you? I also think that there's just like, there are some places that I think that the position is a little closer. For example, I think that there are players at the 6-man level who could play college football like right now, and they have the skills at safety, right? Mm-hmm. At safety.
Yes.
Because that's a lot more apples to apples.
Yeah, regardless, you're in open space. You're trying to stop someone from running at you or catch the ball. Like
as far as schemes are concerned, right? And one of the things that I think six-man players have an advantage in is I think they're better open field tacklers mm-hmm. because they have to be. That's the whole game. The whole game is open field tackling. But skill position guys on the offensive side are trickier mm-hmm. because it is a different skill set as far as reading blocks and like explosivity is certainly part of it, but it doesn't matter if you don't have the vision to identify between mm-hmm. the guard and the tackle when that hole is opening up, because you've literally never run between a guard and a tackle.
Right.
That's the challenge. There's one guy, Grayson Rigdon, who's obviously a star mm-hmm. that I would really like to see in a camp setting, and I'd love for a team to take a flyer on him and say, we like your overall skills, and we'll figure out how mm-hmm. to use those skills and apply them to an 11-man position. Because I do think that there are college football caliber players at the 1A level. I don't think there's any mm-hmm. doubt about that. The question is, can you translate it over to the 11-man game?
Well, and that's the other thing, too, is just the fact that when you've been playing a sport a certain way for, say you've been playing it since 7th mm-hmm. grade, and you've been playing it that way for 6 years of, like, your fundamental development, are you able to break those habits that have been the only habits that you've ever known?
Yeah, most certainly. I hope that answers your question, but I will ask Greg Powers on Wednesday. So I want to make a note of that right now, put in my Palm Pilot. What's next, Pickle?
Interested in your input for China Spring Alvarado.
I am very intrigued with this game, mm-hmm. okay? So much so that if you go to TexasFootball.com and read my weekly upset watch, I have this game on my upset watch.
How about that?
Is a District 5-4A Division I opener. That's and for a district that like last year we were talking all about Stephenville, China Spring, mm-hmm. China Spring. This district, La Vega's off to a nice start.
Yeah.
And Alvarado's 5-1.
Yeah.
So China Spring is 4-2. Their 2 losses are to Melissa, right? That was an understandable loss, right? Mm-hmm. I think we kind of chalked that one up as pretty good. And they lost to Dallas Parish Episcopal, who's a pretty good private school team.
Yes.
Alvarado is very quietly 5-1, and their offense with Cartier Collier,
their offense is humming.
It's been really good, really good. There are real concerns about this China Spring defense. They're giving up 35 points a game. Mm-hmm. Giving up 35 points a game. That's double what they gave up last year. Okay, and let's also not forget that Alvarado does have a flair for pulling off the stunner. Remember last year, they knocked off Stephenville in Stephenville, mm-hmm. 50-49. I would keep an eye on this one. China Spring has to be your favorite. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Mm-mm. They deserve to be the favorite as the 2-time defending state champ. But Alvarado is not a pushover.
No.
And I would be keeping a close eye on this one, especially because I do think that I think Alvarado, not only, you're right, they're at home, and I also think they match up kind of well with China Spring. And they are good at the things where China Spring has struggled.
Yep.
And that's going to be interesting to watch. So I'm intrigued by that game. All right, we got one more?
Yeah, we got an ender. If you were forced to get a tattoo, what tattoo would you get?
I've got tattoos.
No, you don't. Do you?
Yeah, got like 3 on my back. I'm kidding.
I didn't think so.
Tattoos scare me only because I'm non-committal.
That's
and
fair.
like there's
not an eraser.
There's not a ton for me that like when I write something, I write like 2 or 3 drafts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like to have something permanent and to put that in somebody else's hands, I'm like, please make this look like this.
Yeah.
I don't want to get a no regrets.
No regrets. Not
tattoo.
even one letter.
It would probably be something for my kids.
Yeah.
It would probably be something like their birth date, like something small and tasteful, like above my eyebrow.
Yes. On your inner lip.
Yeah, on my inner lip. Just get my kids' birth dates tattooed there. That's probably what I do, since those are probably the most permanent things that I feel comfortable that I will love
forever,
like, or my wife or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm probably not getting like a Texas Football Today tattoo. You know?
What about women talking football?
Let's talk. We need to do a brand refresh, and so like I'm like, maybe if we come up with a better logo, then we can do that. What about you?
I think mine would probably be around the same. I don't have any tattoos either, but you know, I've seen.
That's not a tramp stamp?
No, well that one, but that one doesn't count.
You don't count.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Doesn't count.
Okay.
I know that sometimes too, after people pass, you kind of get something that reminds you of them. I think that, you know, if hopefully it doesn't happen, but when my parents are like finally go, that might be the only time that I do it. But I just personally don't really have any desire.
Yeah.
I've gone this long without doing it, so it's like, why start now?
They're like about 1 out of every 200 tattoos I see, and I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. But like, there's nothing that I look and I'm like, man, like I gotta have that on my body permanently.
Yeah.
Also, like, what if I get super fat?
That's my big concern.
And you, like, I don't want to blow up your spot here, but like one day, let's say you have kids.
Yeah, your
right?
body changes.
Your body changes.
Like,
you know,
it's not anything to do with about like letting myself go,
correct,
or you know, just stopping working out or anything like that. It's like, yeah, no, it changes, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Absolutely. And so like,
because science.
and much like me, what if I just get super fat?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like then it's like, what are you gonna do now? Like, so I'm worried. I would be worried about that. So. No tattoos for me in the future, I don't think. But if I did, it'd probably be, again, no regrets right across my forehead.
Yeah, I need
for my broadcast career.
I need a lip tattoo so I can just like.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be sweet.
Do you want to get like?
The one thing, one of them that I saw that I wouldn't get it, but I thought was really like, oh, that's clever. 2 best friends got like, it was very, very small, tasteful. Again, you can't really see it that much, but it was it was a wine glass on the back of their heel. Oh. And so when they hit their heels together, it looked like they were cheersing. And I was like, that is creative. That's very creative.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to finish. I'm going to go. I've got another appointment to finish my giant back tattoo of a dragon. Coming up here. It's Antonio Wiley's face.
Oh, God. There we go. There's the thing. If Coppell wins the state championship, you need Antonio Wiley's
this is true.
face.
This is true, and this was back in my younger years. My buddy and I came up with a plan. We had we were at a Ranger game and we had been consuming alcohol. And as you know, I love the Rangers. We said that if they ever won the World Series, we'd get the entire box score of the winning game on our back, like with like umpires and time of game and stuff. like
now you could add like
pitch,
analytics in it.
Hit by pitch. Yeah, that was. And then, like, they came within an out of like a strike of winning, and I'm like, oh man, am I gonna have to? And I was watching it with him. I was like, oh buddy, we're gonna have to go get Mike Napoli's name tattooed on our back.
And your little bitty wife was just holding you at the door, going, like, absolutely not,
absolutely not. So that's the big one.
Hey, Dad, what was the? When did they get that second out again? Oh, hang on, like, let me check.
Yeah, Ian Kinsler with 2-4. Anyway. That's going to do it for us. We appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us. Hope you have a great weekend. Remember to watch Texas football tonight, 7:30 p.m. Friday night on TexanLive.com and on YouTube for live whip-around coverage of the biggest Texas high school football games across the state.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.